Hey and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Life is testing me because I just recorded almost half of this and it just disappeared. So here we are back again for another episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 6, Don't Be Sea Salty. And I was already trying not to be sea salty because this was supposed to be up Monday, and here we are, and this has been a day. As I said, even before that, when I first did the first recording, I said it's been a day, and then it cut off, and here we are. So you might hear kids in the background, you might not, but we're gonna get right into it and get through this thing, fingers crossed. So as the episode opens, the ladies are back in Atlanta and we're checking in on everyone. Candy is home and we see little Ace is learning Chinese, and dang, I wish I was bilingual or multilingual. So then we see Sonya and she's on FaceTime with Ross, and Deuce is deucing. We see Kenya and she's on FaceTime with Marlo, and they start talking about Sheree and they want to do something to cheer her up. So Marlo agrees to host a night for the single ladies. She says they'll have some drinks, some good food, and a massage. Sounds good to me. Apparently, it's been 4 days since Philly. So Sheree's daughter comes and checks in on her, and Sheree tells her that Tyrone called the next day like nothing happened, like, hey, what's up? Child, I wish. So she says she got off the phone with him. She's like, oh, let me call you back. And she's been ghosting him ever since. She feels like she should have gotten a response before she got to Philly, and she should. And she says she hasn't been out the house since she got back. Tiara wants to get her out the house and back in them streets. And I don't know why Sheree answered the phone in the first place. I guess she really wanted that apology. But if it was me, I would have given him exactly what he gave me. But anywho, and after all the BS, Sheree still doesn't know if it's something she wants to give up on. Tiara says, if you give him another chance, he better come with it. Child, and I know all too well how Sheree is feeling, but at our big age, it's time to move on, boo. So we see Kenya and she's looking fab, and it looks like she's meeting Drew for lunch. And in her confessional, she says that they have a lot in common and that she wishes they had had this relationship last year. She says in their marriages, they both lost their voices and she hopes that they can help each other now. So the waiter comes and Kenya wants to try all the shrimps. And Drew asks if she's paying. And Kenya's like, of course. And then production plays back the footage of their last dinner where Drew wanted to split the check and Kenya was like, broke bitches split checks. So Kenya says they stayed back in New York a couple of days and Brooklyn got to spend time with her dad. And we find out for the first time she spent the night with Mark. So Drew asked how she felt and Kenya was like, it was okay. And I know as a mom, she was stressed out, but apparently she got through it. So in her confessional, Kenya says she doesn't know how to work to fill in the gap. She doesn't want to replace her dad. Just give her everything she never had growing up, which was the love from her mom. That situation is so sad. So Kenya asked Drew if she and Ralph had a good time, and Drew says she appreciates Kenya sticking up for her and saying what was on her mind. Kenya says she doesn't want to overstep boundaries. She just felt like he was being inconsiderate. Drew says she doesn't know how it's going to end up, but she was grateful that she spoke up for her. So Kenya, she starts talking about not knowing the men were coming, and then these doggone vibrating panties, and then Sonya's panties was going crazy, and so now here we are, back to Sonya. Drew says they were there to support Candy, and she feels like she got ambushed by her friend on the last night. Kenya brings up the conversation she had with Sonya, and Drew feels like she was being fake and not being loyal. Child, and to speak on it with Miss Candy, Sonya has said that her and Drew was not friends like that. So Kenya, she brings up Sonya's Mommy Nation photo shoot, and Drew's like, yeah, I was invited. And then I was uninvited. And so she shows Kenya the text. And before they wrap up their lunch, Drew's like, can I ask you to unblock me on Instagram? Kenya's like, I got you blocked. Kenya, a mess. Again, she's like, somebody gonna have to show me how to unblock you. It was hysterical. We are at Sonya's Mommy Nation photo shoot when Candy pops in. Sonya tells us that Mommy Nation is a blog platform created to support moms in every way. Now, right before I came on to record this, I did quickly look at the Mommy Nation website and the Instagram. You guys should definitely go and take a look if you're moms. So she talks to Candy about being a mom and needing a community, which you definitely do. So they're doing a fall collection photo shoot, and Candy asks, who's all going to be there? Sonya says it's her and Kenya. Originally, Drew was invited, and then she tells her about disinviting her. You sent her a disinvite. She did. So Kenya arrives looking too cute and as if she had no idea she was about to be doing a photo shoot. Now, Candy seemed like she knew, but Kenya, no idea. Kenya says that Sonya needs to talk to her agent. And in her confessional, Candy says Kenya don't really do anything without a check involved. I ain't mad at her. So Kenya is looking for some clarity when Sonya tells her they will be rocking hoodies for the Black Friday sale. Child, and the ladies have a little kiki about that one. Candy's like, Black Friday sale, we cheap. But Kenya says she may waive her fee because she likes Sonya. And pause. Kenya is actually playing nice with the newbies. Oh my goodness, she's so refreshing this season. Now, I'm not part of Team Twirl yet, but she's cool. So the ladies, they look too cute, posing in their Mommy Nation sweatshirts. And then when they're done, Candy asks why she chose them to do the photo shoot. And Sonya says, well, she connected the most with the two of them on the trip. I guess, child. So we talk a little bit about the Drew thing, and then Sonya says she plans to have a get-together for the ladies where everyone invited and her mom can teach them all how to cook. So Candy says she wants to see the house, and Sonya was like, nope, y'all not about to see the house. We're going to have it at a cool little space, because Sonya said she didn't have no furniture, so y'all was not about to come in there clowning her for not having no furniture. I don't blame her. So Kenya brings up what Drew said at their lunch about Sonya not having a mind of her own. And Sonya's like, I know she didn't. But she's like, listen, I want to create the right environment to have this conversation with her. So Candy says, can I bring my mom? And Sonya's like, absolutely. And then she tells her about living with her mom and her dad. And then somehow I think it was Kenya was like, yeah. And Sheree's mom moved in with her. Child, have y'all heard about Sheree? So she fills them in on the Tyrone drama. And child, there are pictures of Sheree crying online. And I thought that was just totally awful. So the ladies are like, I guess she made the right decision to stay abstinent. But then in her confessional, Candy says he couldn't come because he couldn't explain to the lady that was giving him some where he was going. The shade. So Kenya tells them that the single ladies are going to get together to cheer Sheree up, and then they wrap up the photo shoot. So Marlo is setting up for Sheree's cheer up surprise, and Miss Marlo has all the labels, honey. She says she is bringing Sheree the in-home shopping experience. Ma'am says she is the Fendi Batman, and then she tells us she has all the comfort foods on the way. Kenya is bringing the sweets, the drinks, and the masseuse. So Marla decides to call and check in on Kenya. She's laying down. She says she doesn't feel well. Then she's explaining the whole Mommy Nation thing the day before, and she didn't really feel well then. And Marlo's like, wait. So you're not coming? No, she's not. But she says she's going to send Drew over with the things. Marlo tells her to get better, but she thinks she's lying because her face is beat. So we see Sonya and her mom, and they're out food shopping for the cooking event. Sonya in her confessional tells us her mom's an excellent cook and that she tried to teach her, but she just somehow never had the time to really learn. I guess. So they discuss who's coming, and she tells her mom that she has some apprehensions about Drew because of what Kenya said. Drew, she shows up to Marlo's house 2 hours before Sheree's cheer up surprise. She's just there to help. She doesn't plan on sticking around. So then Marlo, she brings up Kenya and the makeup and the not coming and the Mommy Nation photo shoot. Child. Drew's like, oh, so you weren't invited? Drew, you were uninvited. So, and okay, leave it alone. And in her defense, Drew does tell Marlo that, and then Marlo wonders why they weren't invited and why it was Candy and Kenya. And she's like, is it because they have the most followers? Probably. So we go back on over to the store with Sonya and her mom, and then Sonya reads her mom, Drew's text, where she declines Sonya's invite to her get-together. And then Drew is telling Marlo about the text from Sonya and how she feels like it's fake because you disinvited me from this event and then you invited me to this event and it was just a day apart and bippity boo. And she can't do fake, but okay. You can't do fake, but you lie, I guess. So Marlo tells her that she should show up and be on her best behavior. Back on over to Sonya and her mom, and Sonya telling her mom that she has tried to play nice, and Sonya's mom is like, Drew don't want none of this. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Marlo and Drew are still prepping when Marlo decides to call Sheree. Sheree is looking fabulous in her pajamas, and she's eating some doggone chips, sounding like Bubba Gump, talking about all different kinds of chips. And she likes thick chips with a little bit of sea salt. Child, it was a whole bunch of nothing. So Marlo's like, what you got on? Oh, you could rock that. Go on and get in that car. I got waiting out there for you. And Sheree's like, what? She don't go in the pajamas. She changes into her little outfit. She gets in the car that's outside. She's complaining about having to put the blindfold on. She's asking the man where they're going. So the massage therapist shows up and the food shows up. And Drew, she's about to get a to-go plate when Sheree shows up and Marlo is about ready to kick her on out. So Marlo, she goes out to get Sheree. So as they're coming in, Marlo wants to reenact the scene from like 10 seasons ago where her and Sheree be like, Marlo is too silly. So Sheree comes in and she loves the setup and Marlo wants her to know that it's all about her. So Marlo says, Tyrone can kick bricks. Don't ever forget who the F you are. You are that bitch. So they trying on clothes and posing and taking pictures. And Sheree was like me. She thought Marlo was gifting her some of that stuff, but no, $11,000 later, Sheree is buying her own Fendi. I don't know how much of a cheer up that is, but okay. So they start fixing plates and Marlo starts talking about how Kenya was supposed to be there. We're going to skip right on over that. They gets to talking about Tyrone. Marlo's like, girl, now I know you love him. And Sheree's like, I give him the benefit of the doubt and I know that he loves me. Do you? Marlo's like, what makes you say that? How do you know he loves you? What if your daughter was in the same scenario? And that gives Sheree a little bit of a wake-up call. She's like, damn, you got me feeling crazy. And I know my kids are wondering why I'm letting him put me through this. You think? So Sheree, she starts getting all teary-eyed. Marlo tells her she deserves better and to block his number. Facts. So they talk and Sheree cries and Marlo hugs her. And I thought that was really good of Marlo because, you know, Marlo a little rough around the edges, but I'm going to take that back in a few minutes. And I felt for her, but I really just need Sheree to wake up because Marlo was like, this is the last time I have this conversation with you. And Sheree's like, it might not be, Sheree. Baby, let it go. So they have a little more kumbaya and then they head off to get their feet massaged. So now it's the day of Sonya'S Get-Together and her mom arrive at the location and they have it looking like Jamaica from the flowers to the steel pans. It was real cute inside. So then we see a little bit later, we see Sheree and then Kenya. And Kenya says, oh, she's not feeling well, but she just had to show up for Sonya. And why she say that? In her confessional, Sheree says she's glad Kenya could show up for someone. And I knew from that moment, it's about to be a problem. So Marlo shows up in some cute little leggings talking ish and she's looking for some oxtails and girl, me too. So then we see Kanzi and Mama Joyce arrive and Sonya tells the ladies they got to get their dirty wine on and it looks like a good time, y'all. So Kenya asks about Drew and Sonya fills her in. I invited her. She didn't want to come. I'm not going to force her. Marlo wants to know if they're really going to cook, and indeed they are. And then Kenya, she gets lessons from Sonya's mom on how to pick a plantain, and her and Marlo start having some inappropriate jokes. So Kenya says she's interested in knowing the family dynamic. So you cook for everyone in the home? She's supposed to, Sonya says. Kenny's like, what does that mean? Sonya's mom is like, we just got a fully functioning kitchen. So Sonya's like, all right, I brought y'all here to cook. So Kenya, she steps over to the side and she coughs. And you know in this day and age, you start coughing, everybody's looking like, So Marlo says she may need to go home. And Candy's like, I ain't trying to get sick. And Marlo's like, well, I didn't think she was going to show up. She didn't show up yesterday, so I didn't think she was going to come today because she wasn't feeling well. Child. So Marlo asks if she told them what happened with Tyrone. And she asks if it's okay if that she share. So Kenya says, she told Kandi, was she not supposed to? And Sheree's like, well, I would have preferred to tell her myself, but being that Kandi knew, I'm surprised that she didn't call me. Child, I guess I get why she wants to tell everybody, but it's all over the blogs, ma. So, I mean, here's what it is. So Kandi says she wanted to give Sheree time to come to her and tell her exactly what she wanted her to know. And Miss Sheree, y'all, she brings up Drew contacting her when her and Drew ain't even cool like that. And then in her confessional, she's like, first Kandi didn't call her about Anthony, and now she didn't call her about Tyrone. That's strike 2 for Kandi. Sheree, you're reaching and you need to stop. So Candy's like, I know you don't cry, and they said you was crying. And Kenya interjects and she's like, yeah, that's what broke my heart. And Sheree's like, yeah, that's why I thought you would be there. Sheree. Kenya's like, what did you want me to do? And Marlo is trying to explain to her that she and Kenya talk, but Sheree's like, I wanted you to show up for me and support me. The end of this episode, y'all. So Sheree's like, but not just on the phone. And why did you have on a full face of glam? Marlo told you that, girl. Kenya says because she was preparing to go and she called the doctor, and the doctor said she couldn't go, that she had to get a test. So she says she got the test, but then Sheree starts and Marlo, they start to over talking her. Child, it was a lot. Marlo putting her 2 cents in. Kenya saying she didn't want to get them sick. Understandable. So it's getting heated. Sheree and Marlo ain't listening to nothing that Kenya got to say. So Mama Joyce got to jump in and say, hey, hold on now. Wait a minute. Kenya's like, okay, Mama Joyce, I'll be quiet. You gonna argue about some junk like this? She says she's sorry. Now what happened? So Kandi asked if she heard back from him. Sheree's like, I did block him, but not forever. It needs to be forever, Mama Joyce says, because I wouldn't put up with that not 1 minute. And then Kenya's like, but your daughter did. Kenya, what that got to do with anything, girl? So then we talk about Kandi's baby daddy being in jail and Sheree wanting Kandi to support her, and just Marlo says they're never there. And then Sheree says it meant a lot for Drew to reach out to her. So Marlo mentions that she told Drew to come. Then we start talking about this Mommy Nation event. So Sonya stands by not having Drew at her work event. And then they ask, well, who was invited? Oh, so you just didn't invite us, Marlo says. Sonya's like, I didn't mean to offend. Marlo's like, Kandi ain't even the most friendly person. You only know her for 2 seconds. So then she asks to talk to Sheree outside. So Kandi feels like Marlo is getting Sheree involved in her mess, and she is. So outside, the two of them talk about Sonya being up Kandi and Kenya's ass. Oh well. So Marlo jokes about Sonya trying to promote her business, and she ain't been on the track in 50 years, and she got 20 people living in her house, and Sheree just laughing it up with her. So inside, Kenya's like, she's picking fights with everyone. That's the nasty Marlo I knew, and how long did it take for her to show up? So outside, Marlo starts talking about Kandi being a money mommy and having a daddy daycare. So Marlo says that Kandi doesn't have it in her heart to help other people. And Sheree's like, she's for herself. Really? Now we all know Miss Kandi is charitable. Didn't she in fact help Marlo's behind? It's the audacity for me. So then Marlo says that Kandi's a hoe and that her stuff ain't good, and that's why she had to date underneath her tax bracket. Preach, Sheree says. And then Marlo says that Kenya is a video hoe. Fact, Sheree says. So Marlo, she talks some other mess in her confessional, and then she says, let's go in there and kill them with kindness. I wish Drew would have came. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I was disgusted by this conversation. Marlo, she put her villain crown on this episode. You talk about low, she took us to the flow, and I ain't like that. Then we see Sonya setting up for the ladies to eat, and Drew walks in and says hi, and that is where we end. What did you guys think about this episode? Please drop your thoughts down below in the comments. This one wasn't one of my favorites, but the season is still progressing quite well for me. I feel like you want to make an enemy out of Kenya. Okay, maybe. But Kandi, that's not a bridge you want to burn, Sheree. Like, you're aligning yourself with the wrong people. Wrong move, Sheree. Wrong move. Anywho, if you've made it this far, put that turn face emoji down in the comments for the end of this episode. I hope you'll come back and join me for my recap or review of episode 7. While you're here, please check out some of my other content. Thank you. And before you go, like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you. Peace.